Welcome to the Unshackled Life Podcast. Real talk about faith, freedom, and following Jesus. I'm Dalen Woodard, and I'm glad you're here. Whether you've been walking with Jesus for years or you're just trying to figure out what's real in a noisy world, this space is for honest conversation, raw reflection, and truth that sets us free. Let's get into today's episode. The lights of hope and peace are still burning. The peace and hope that have come and that we long for and await with expectation. And now, today, on the third Sunday, we turn our hearts in the spirit of Advent toward joy. That's a fun one. We like that one. And I am sure that if you asked any child and a lot of adults to list what brings joy at Christmas, somewhere at the top, if not the very top of the list, especially with the younger ones, will be gifts, presents. Now, at some point, hopefully it becomes maybe giving them is just as much a source of joy as receiving them, maybe more so. But it's still about the gift. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Because I think that every gift given and every gift received points to and is a reminder of, symbolizes in a small way, the greatest gift. The gift it was always all about. The gift when God wrapped himself in flesh and not just came as a man. We think that sometimes when we say, he came as a man. No. I mean, yeah, but no. He came as a human being. There are things in the Old Testament that you can look at and read. Joshua saw Jesus in the flesh. He came in a physical form. He came as a man. Even in the Old Testament, God with us. But at Bethlehem, he came as a human being, completely human, starting from the most vulnerable and innocent that could possibly exist among us in the womb for 9 months, approximately, and then as a little baby. And that is the gift that brings the hope and the peace and the joy. And the advent of joy is what we share with Jesus, and it is something that can empower us. In Hebrews chapter 12, we are encouraged, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, all the people who have seen and heard about Jesus before us, who said, yes, I want that hope and that peace and that joy. Let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. Lay aside the burdens and the weight, and lay aside the sin, the things that are separating us from the Father. And then, regardless of the circumstances, because the circumstances are going to be hard at times, otherwise you wouldn't need endurance, continue faithfully the calling we've been called to, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith. He's the one that gives us to us the gift of faith, who, for the joy that was set before him, he was looking ahead to joy. That's Advent. That's what we're doing. We are looking ahead to the exact same thing that Jesus was looking ahead to. It's what we share with him about Christmas. Everything else about Christmas is, he gives to us, we receive. Here we share that same joy of Advent. For that joy that was set before him, he endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. He endured the cross, looking forward to the joy that was coming, gave him the strength and the heart to continue the journey through the cross for you and for me. And that joy is the same joy that is produced in a small way with every gift given and every gift received in a true giving heart. And that is the joy of connection. Seeing and being seen. Someone cares. The joy of connection between us is supposed to point to the joy of connection we have with the Father because of the gift of his Son. And that is the joy that was set before Jesus, that we would say yes and come and receive that gift and have connection with the God who created us. His body was broken and his blood was spilt as the greatest present ever given was ripped open for us. Because of that, we can come. Because of that, we can have relationship with God. We can be clean. And no matter what the weight, chaos, and confusion going on around us, even when we're sad and there's some grieving, it can be mixed with a joy that cannot be taken away or lost because it was given to us by the Creator. Nehemiah tells us that the joy of the Lord is our strength. The joy of the Lord is the Lord's joy. The Lord's joy that took him to and through the cross was the hope that you would have peace with him.
Thanks for joining me for this episode of the Unshackled Life podcast. If it encouraged, blessed, or challenged you, consider following the podcast and sharing it with someone you feel it might bless or help. Be blessed, and remember, when you fix your thoughts on God and build your thinking on the foundation of His truth, God fixes your thoughts.